Google's done it again and made some of their most interesting dynamic features free for all to use. There's a lot to go over in this video, so let's get right to it. Google's AI Studio just updated and now gives you free access to features like URL content tools, native image generation, and speech generation, while also giving you free access to talk to Gemini directly in a live real-time environment and generate media using different models. Coming over on the right, you'll see all of the settings that you can change. You'll see that it's running Gemini 2.5. Temperature means how creative the prompts will be, and you'll get the Google search so that you can see what it's actually doing. And if you want to go down that same rabbit hole, you can go down the rabbit hole that the AI went to get to whatever outcome that it came up with. We're just going to start with the URL content tool. iOS 26 has been announced recently, and it comes up with all these different new features. So what I can do is come over to this article, copy and paste the URL, come over here, paste the URL, and ask Google, what are the new features in iOS 26? Hit run. It'll show me what it's thinking, and I can actually see what it's thinking if I drop this down. It'll come up with a summary, and because I have the URL context, it'll actually tell me where it got this article from. And within a few seconds, it actually tells you that it took 9.9 seconds. It comes up with the summary. Let's go back into chat, and now let's try asking it a simple question. It'll run it, and then it'll show me what it's thinking. So what I can do is I can ask it a simple question like, what was the score of the Yankees game yesterday? It'll come up with a summary. It'll tell me its thoughts. And then I can click on these sources, and it will show me that the Yankees won 7-2. I can also have the Google search available to me. So if I just click on the Google search, it'll take me right to what it was looking up. Since I'm a teacher, maybe I wanted to create interactive flashcards for division. I can click on run. It'll tell me everything it's doing. So it's analyzing flashcard designs, it's discovering inspirations, it's telling me how long it's taking. And now after a few minutes, I have fully functioning code that I can put into something like CodePen and run it right from here. So now L divided by 4 is 3. Click submit. Now I can go on to the next one. 18 divided by 2. Let's say I said 6. It tells me that it's incorrect and the answer is 9. And that all the code took about 20 seconds. I did have to re-prompt it because at first it just showed me this and it showed me what it could do. And then I had to re-prompt it and tell me to actually create the game. But once I did that, within 20 seconds after that, it gave me all the code. 83 divided by 4, 20 remainder 3. Submit. If I said 20 remainder 5, it'll tell me it's incorrect, and that is 3. So it does work properly, which is kind of cool. And as with any kind of quiz, you can modify it to your heart's content. So I have all this, and let's say I wanted to change the game to chemistry terms. So instead of math, I wanted to change it to maybe flashcards for certain chemistry terms, right? Or physics or whatever you wanted to do. You can change it right from here. And since it has its memory, you don't have to go back to the beginning and start from scratch. It'll recognize that you already had a game and modify it accordingly. And in real time, it's just creating it. The last one took 20 seconds. This one seems about the same. See covalent bonds, isotopes, all the things I haven't thought about since high school. 29 seconds later, it comes up with all this, and then I can go into CodePen and replace it. Go down to CSS, copy it to clipboard, go and replace it. And this all works on the first try. I know in the past, and I've used Canvas AI, I've used Google directly, or ChatGPT directly rather, and that has almost not worked ever on the first try. This seems to be working perfectly. What is a gas? And then I can flip it, and a gas is a state of matter with no definite shape or volume. And then I can go on to the next one, an acid, a molecule, flip this one, 2 or more atoms joined together. I can go to advanced and look up what an allotrope is. And I'm going to assume that's right. I was more of a math person, I'm going to be honest. So that is its code. Again, first try, 30 seconds, and you have yourself an interactive game. I can go back to chat and I can go to native speech generation. So you can change over here, you can change the name of the speaker. Let's call this person Alice, and this person can be Bob. So I can change the voice of Alice, have it play.
Ready to build something awesome today?
Got a project.
What do you want to explore?
Ready to make something amazing?
Right, change this one. I can change this one to...
What sparks your interest?
What's a skill you'd like to develop?
I like the names of these guys, right? And now I can change what these guys are saying. So if I just change the entire script, I can do it like that. I can also come over down to the bottom and actually have it do certain things. Like I can have it create a podcast. I can have it create audio for voice assistant. I can have it create a movie screen script, which is what this is. It'll have speaker 1, it'll have speaker 2. It changed the voices on me automatically. Any one of these I can go ahead and change. So if I didn't want the word epic in here, I can write that it's going to be terrible instead. And when I'm done, when I have my script done, all I'm going to do is click run. It'll take a few seconds. And after about a minute or two, this is a snippet of what it created.
Alice, look at this. The Eiffel Tower lights up every hour at night. We have to see it from the Trocadero and then race to a Bateau Mouche for the river view. It's going to be terrible.
I saw that, Liam. It does sound spectacular. A real Parisian icon known for its dazzling beauty and romantic atmosphere.
And as you could tell, AI voices are getting a little bit on the creepy side. She took that sigh right when she was saying Parisian. They have like the ums and ahs that people do when they're talking and they're stuttering. So it's adding in those to make it seem more realistic. And it's only going to get more realistic from here. What I can also do, if I come to the stream section, is I can start just talking to Gemini. What is your name?
My name is Gemini.
It'll give me the whole transcript. I can actually come over here and download the transcript, so it'll tell me what I said. So that's pretty cool if you want a whole back and forth. However, what I can also do is I can share my screen. I can ask the AI now, what am I looking at here? What is this CodePen?
You're looking at a CodePen, which is an online editor for creating and testing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code. This particular CodePen seems to be a set of chemistry term flashcards.
And that's a bit creepy. That took a whole 2.5 seconds for it to respond. It responded just like that. Again, I turned off the video source, so now it's not recording the screen anymore, and I turned off recording, so now it's not recording my own voice. But anytime I want to come back to it, what else can I do on CodePen?
CodePen is great for experimenting with front-end web development, showcasing your skills, and collaborating with others on small projects. You can use it to create demos, learn new coding techniques, and share your creations with the community.
So now, just by clicking on this button, it'll either start listening or stop listening, and I can just get rid of the video source, so now it's not recording my screen anymore. And maybe you have a question about something on your screen, right? So I have that whiteboard in the background, so if I click on webcam, what does it say on the whiteboard behind me?
I'm sorry, but the whiteboard is too far away for me to clearly see what's written on it.
How many books do you think are on the bookshelf?
It looks like there are around 70 books on the bookshelf.
How did you get that answer?
I estimated the number of books by counting the books on each shelf and then adding them up.
Again, pretty interesting. It told me that a whiteboard was too far away and that I couldn't see it, but it did recognize that I have books on my bookshelf, and then it estimated about how many books I had on there. But you can hold up a picture of something or take a picture of something, or if you're on your laptop or your phone, you can bring this to something that you don't understand. Maybe you have a broken bike chain, or maybe you have plants that you want to know what kind of plant it is. Maybe something's broken in your house and you're wondering what you can do to fix it, right? You have all these different scenarios where you can now come into Gemini, ask it a question, and it'll immediately answer it based on what it sees. So that is the Gemini Live. You do have all of these options. You can change the way it speaks to you so that it adds some inflection. You can do proactive audio so that it'll respond to the audio and know that if you're saying something that's not relevant to the topic that you're asking, it'll just ignore it. And just like before, you can change the voice of the response, and you can change the amount of tokens that you use for the image. The next thing that we're going to take a look at is generative media. So you can use all of these different models. You can use Veo, you can use speech generation, which we already tried. You can use Gemini's built-in image generator. So when I click on Imagen, it'll tell me that it does have a limited free quota for testing, which basically just means there's a lot of people wanting to use these image generators and these video generators, so they're limiting it, but it is free, so you get what you don't pay for. But what I can do is I can describe my image. So I can say, maybe I want an image of a dog running on top of water at full speed. I can click run. I can also have changed the aspect ratio, right? So it can get dog running at full speed here. And if I wanted a YouTube aspect ratio, right, of 16:9, I can click on 16:9. I can also update it so that it's in 2K instead of 1K resolution, and then rerun it. And within 10 seconds, it comes up with a brand new image. What I can also do is I can change the number of results anywhere from 1 to 4, like most other generators. And right from here, since this is connected to Google, I can actually just export it to Google Drive, or I can download it. I can like this response so that it uses it for other people, takes that information and improves everything for everybody else. I can also come over here to Gemini's image generator and just click on run for a majestic horse running on the beach. And within 3 seconds, it created this picture of a horse. You can come over here. I tried using Veo, but I think because everybody wants video generation, it's not quite working very well. If I have this picture of a dog and I said that I wanted him to be lying on the ground stretching, I clicked run before and it didn't work at all. I was going to scratch this idea, but I'm glad I retried it. Again, down here, it tells you how long it takes. Over here, you can change the video duration, but you can't quite change the frame rate and resolution, which for me is perfectly fine, because if you were to pay for Veo 2, or if you were to pay for Veo 3 right now, it's $20 a month and it's limited. So the fact that this is free, I am not complaining. And after about a minute, this is what it came up with. The last thing I'm going to show you is the build section, which is where you can actually kind of create your own apps, right? So let's say I go to Mumbo Jumble. It'll show me all of the code that it has. And now I can actually play around with this app, right? I can click into it. It actually works pretty well. I can change the voice, or I can just randomize it. And now it's telling me that I just create a voice yelling like a terrified panda with the role of a pirate. It shows me that it's connecting.
Shiver me timbers! A voice from the depths. What be your business with me, ye ghostly apparition?
I've come to take your parrot.
Take me, ye parrot? Over my dead pirate bones, ye scoundrel. He's me trusty companion, and I'll not let ye have him.
Over your dead body, panda. Parrot is mine.
Belay that talk, ye scurvy dog. Me parrot is me parrot, and I'll defend him to the bitter end.
So, again, I can come over here and have it stop talking, or I can just reset the entire thing. I can click the X, and now I can create a brand new model. I want a dog that thinks he's a robot, who is very angry, and he is very emotive. And now I have a robot dog.
Bark! I am Rowan Barn Beagle.
Quick, help me. My car is
Don't-
broken down on the wrong side of the road.
My car is broken down on the wrong side of the road. That's not even a car. That's a bicycle. You are making no sense.
Okay, that's rude.
Listen up. I have more important things to investigate, like the missing squeaky toy. Your car is not a mystery.
Your squeaky toy doesn't matter to me. Help me.
Are you kidding me? The missing squeaky toy is a crime of the century.
So that's just one of the apps that somebody else has created. So these are pretty high fidelity. And again, if I don't like some part of these apps, I can come over and change anything I want. Change the blue play button red. I can click on go. And what it's going to do, it literally tells me that it's going to revise the play button, locating the color. It's changing it. It's changing just the CSS, which is the visual aspect of coding. It's implementing it, and it's changing the code and it's changing the code in real time now that it's verified it. The entirety of the code changing and modifying. As you can see, as opposed to a real human that knows how to code, instead of just changing 1 or 2 lines in here, it is rewriting the entirety of the code just to change the color of this blue play button. That is the one downside, although I'm not going to pretend like I know how to code whatsoever. It's saying that there's 28 errors in the code, so then it is automatically trying to update it, and I think I broke it. But that's okay. It took about 5 minutes to go through all this. It tried to do everything it could to get that blue play button red, and at the end of the day, it kind of just imploded on itself, which is okay. You can't always be perfect, but what I can do is I can just come back, right? Go back and go into where it just was, and now it's just like it was, like nothing ever happened, although the button is still blue, unfortunately. And lastly, of course, if you're building an app, you would want to build an app. So you could do what I was doing over here with CodePen. You can actually come over here and just build it right inside of Gemini. So I can come over here and ask it to make me interactive division flashcards, click go, and now it'll build me an app for interactive flashcards. We're going to exit out. We're going to assume that it works pretty well because of all the other things that it did beautifully. And that is Google's AI Studio. Again, everything we just did was completely for free. The only thing that didn't quite work besides modifying the code on a pre-existing app is the VO2 video generator. Everything that you saw was basically the first try I was trying it. It worked perfectly. And if you want to try it for yourself, make sure you click down below in the description. And while you're there, I'd really appreciate it if you click that subscribe button and leave a like. And if you have any other AI tools that you want me to explore, let me know in the comments down below. We are super close to 1,000 subscribers, and I appreciate every single one of you, except for you, Tony. Anyway, with that, I'm out.